Group policy is a tool that administrators can use to limit what people can do with their Windows computers. So I'm going to show this on my Windows desktop system because the calculator has an interesting option that can be controlled via group policy. This calculator option just doesn't apply on the server version because the server version, as of right now, doesn't have that particular option. So let's take a look at group policy. I'm going to, in my start menu, edit group policy. That's what I'm going to search for. So I want to find edit group policy on the control panel. And so here's the local group policy editor. So local means the policy is applied to my computer. So group policy is something that applies to the professional versions of Windows. The home versions of Windows aren't going to come with group policy. It's really a feature that big organizations use to manage thousands of computers and make sure that those computers are being used the way that the information technology managers and the chief information security officers want those computers to be used. And there's tons of toggles and tweaks that can be changed using group policy. So this is the local editor. If I was in a big organization, I might edit the policy that gets applied to every computer in my company, or that gets applied to those pesky accountants. Always trying to do bad stuff, those accountants. So you can apply different group policy to different groups of users. Here we're just going to change our own computer's settings. So there's two main categories: computer configurations or user configurations. Some settings can be applied to this computer so that anybody who logs into this computer will get those settings applied. Or you can apply settings to a user, so maybe I'm the only one who gets access to something restricted as a user. Little detour, I'm going to launch the calculator from my start menu, calculator. And the Windows calculator has different modes. For example, we've got this graphing mode. So I could create a formula, I can evaluate something, y equals mx plus b, we could graph that out. Fine, just keep that in your mind. That is an option that we can do. We can change the mode from standard to scientific to graphing programmer, or we can do date calculations here. So I'm gonna just kind of keep that off to the side just for right now. In the group policy editor now, let's jump back. Let's go to user configuration, administrative templates, expand Windows components, and I'm going to go to the calculator. Now there's a setting here that says allow graphing calculator. Notice that the state is not configured, so nobody's changed whether this is allowed or not allowed. It's just not set. So it's going to defer to the default. I'm going to double click on that setting now. And now I have one of three choices: not configured, enabled, or disabled. So I might have competing policy. So if this is not configured, it's basically deferring to the default policy. I can specifically disable this policy or enable this policy. So I'm going to scroll down. I am going to choose disabled. So allow is disabled. That means no graphing calculator. And I'm going to click OK. Now if I come over to my calculator, notice I'm still in graphing mode. So did it do anything? Well, let's take a look. The program is running. It was running when I changed the settings, so I'm going to close the calculator and I'm going to come to my start menu. I'm going to launch calculator again, and I'm in standard mode. If I click the drop down to see what other calculator modes exist, notice that graphing is now grayed out. I cannot choose the graphing calculator option because group policy disabled it. Why would Microsoft choose to do this? Maybe for some kind of testing scenario. I don't know, the SATs or ACTs, other standardized testing. Maybe they wanted to restrict graphing calculators. Somebody asked for this feature to be able to disable or enable the graphing calculator. They wanted it controlled via group policy, so there you go. So group policy changed the things that I can do with my computer. Now I changed this, so I restricted myself from using it, but most often it's going to be organizational security policy settings that get applied to my computer to turn features on and off. Like maybe I don't want my users adding printers, so I could disable that using group policy. Maybe I don't want them changing their desktop wallpapers. I could change that via group policy. I can tweak things to make sure that the computing environment runs smoothly and that we're less likely to have security problems. So I'm going to close the calculator again and double click the Allow Graphing Calculator Group Policy setting, and I will say Not Configured. Apply it, click OK. I could have just clicked OK, it would have applied it. Now if I launch the calculator again, we're back. We're back in standard mode. I've got graphing. Now I can graph stuff. So group policy is a key tool. It's usually used in conjunction with Active Directory so that group policy settings can be pushed out to all the user accounts inside an organization. It can be applied to all the computers registered with an organization so that they can control the environment. So take a look around in the group policy editor. See all the different things that can be tweaked. Like what can we do with the file explorer? There's tons of different settings. There's hundreds and hundreds of things that can be tweaked using group policy. The United States government, they publish some recommendations for group policy. I'll open this link here in a new tab. We can go there. If you don't want to just start from scratch, trying to figure out what to turn on and off, the United States government, they've got advice. They've got a zip file you can download. You can see what they recommend that people turn on or off to help secure their computers. So if I download this, it's going to be a zip file. I'll just pause the video, open that up real quick. Okay, so unpausing, I extracted the files from their site and I opened up a report of what they recommend setting. So we can see, for an example, in the computer configuration, under Windows settings, security, policies, the account policies, password policies. Notice they've got policies to enforce the password history. So 24 passwords remembered. So you can't reuse that many passwords. They've got a maximum password age of 60 days. So that differs from how my computer's set up. They've got a minimum password age. Now that's interesting to think about. Why would you have a minimum password age? Well, to bypass password reset policies that people don't like, some people want to keep the same password. So if you have no minimum password age, somebody might reset their password 24 times till they get back to the original password that they wanted to use anyway. So these policies were well thought out. A lot of people sat around trying to figure out what are the best security practices. So we might refer to the work that somebody else has done to help us craft the policy that we are going to apply using group policy inside our organization.